she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
From Las Vegas to Manchester, England, we are on the road to UFC 304. Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 123. Today is Friday, July 26, 2024. Joe got an awful shirt to start the show, so you know, Tom Thibodeau gets rehired, right? We're going to go to basketball just real quick. Just stay with me. So I get all Villanova got a Knicks on the shirt, and everyone's like, yo, that's a cool shirt. I type in the link below. I'm like, oh, maybe these guys can make a shirt for me, right? They make it only like $15-16. Cool. I get it yesterday. I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear it on the pod. It looks sick. Meanwhile, this shit is bootleg, looking like I got it from Chinatown in New York. It's awful. Me and you could have made some shit better. The V was supposed to be like a Nova V. Oh my God. My sister looked at it, and whoever doesn't know my sister, Joe, knows, alumni of Villanova. She said, what is that?
You found Wishes Connect.
Yeah, I said, I am sorry, but oh my God. Yeah, so I've had a great fucking weekend to start my day.
Oh, that boy works for Temu.
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great. Hyped for out in this weekend. Schedule's looking good for the future. I'll be locked in for 305 as well. All the construction going on. We're living in the moment.
Let's fucking go. Yeah, UFC 305 going to be amazing. But yeah, great one. And you know what? 304 is one of the best cards of the year. I really say I didn't really like it in the beginning, but they moved some pieces around. I really like it. I feel bad for those English fans who's going to be there during the middle of the night, 4 a.m. Nathaniel Wood. I mean, you got to go pull in, you know? Like, if you're doing it, you just got to pull the all-nighter and just hang in there. But yeah, great episode. We'll start with some news in boxing and MMA. UFC 304 picks. We'll take care of the whole card. Joe has some boxing, so Guo is in action as well. And we'll end it over in Japan as well with 10 seconds left. Joe looks to stay hot there. But our boy, Francis Ngannou, he was on Joe Rogan earlier this week, and he said he's expected to make his PFL debut against Renan Ferreira. He's the one who won in the main event back a few months ago. He's planning to fight in Saudi Arabia October 19th. The date isn't finalized yet, but Ngannou says it will be Ferreira in Saudi Arabia before the end of the year. Are you surprised he's going to PFL and not boxing?
Well, he said that it's probably not going to line up for him, the boxing route. So it's looking like most likely he's going to compete in mixed martial arts before he gets into the boxing ring again, which I think most of us want to see. You know, I think he also owes it to the PFL, like we talked about it before, that he could, you know, go to box, he could do all this stuff, but at the end of the day, he does owe something to the PFL, and they're going to want him to compete against their best heavyweight, even though, you know, Francis is theirs. He could be their other best heavyweight, but still, you get the two best up against each other. And, you know, you build a megastar with Renan Ferreira if he could beat Francis Ngannou. You absolutely do. So, yeah, it's just a matter of fact of him probably owing something to the contract, to the organization that made him the chairman of PFL Africa. I know soon they're going to be moving over to there. So they got a lot going in, and I just don't think that the boxing world's going to give him what he wants just yet. He's going to probably have to go out there and win a couple MMA fights and maybe have everything clear up in the boxing side of things so that he can get a fight.
And establish his name again, because the last one I'll say was bad. You know, especially that everything happened in his family with his son. He needed the break.
That was heartbreaking, man. Heart-wrenching. And prior to that, though, I was kind of questioning, like, obviously, where his mind was at talking about the AJ loss and like saying all these things outside of character, outside of the fight, saying all these other aspects affected him. And yes, Kobe's passing was after the fight, but you know, you can't question a man's heart. You know, maybe what he was knowing beforehand and didn't tell anybody. Maybe he had some information prior. Maybe, you know, maybe he was sick. Maybe there was other things, but it was a lot. It was a very heart-wrenching episode to hear from him, and we still wish him the best. You know, Francis Ngannou, he's a gift to the world. He's got a story that, you know, he could tell to millions, and I know it'll move a lot of people. So I know they talked about that as well.
Your favorite fighter's favorite fighter, Francis Ngannou. Can't wait for him. They did just announce something for PFL Africa, so that is in the works as well. He is the head of that. Let's see if you could guess the odds. Opening odds, if it is finalized in October 19th in Saudi Arabia. That's another thing I am kind of surprised about as well, especially since they just mentioned PFL Africa. I do think eventually he will fight there and they'll get an event there, but surprising that they're not pushing that and they're going back to Saudi Arabia. But can you guess the odds?
For Renan Ferreira, Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
You know what, man? Give me Renan Ferreira as a slight favorite.
No, not even close. -380 to Francis Ngannou, +300 for Ferreira. Kind of steep.
I was just trying to. I honestly think it's really closely contested.
Really? You think the power kind of translate? Because he hasn't fought mixed martial art in a while.
Yeah, I just think Renan Ferreira is a problem. I think the size matchup is a problem. I think. Oh my God. Yeah, I think Renan Ferreira is literally what his nickname is.
If Renan Ferreira winds up stunning the world and beats Francis Ngannou, the scenes in Saudi Arabia are going to be incredible.
That's my point. And I do think that he poses up a very tough matchup for Francis.
100%. So yeah, that was very interesting. And like you said, you should check out the whole podcast. It was very interesting. He was very vulnerable. And I think it was the first big interview since everything happened in his life. So yeah, go check that out. By the way, we got an official rule update. The 12-6 elbow is no longer an illegal strike in MMA. The definition of a grounded opponent has been changed. Quote, a fighter shall be considered grounded and may not be legally kneed or kicked to the head when any part of their body other than their hands or feet in contact with the canvas. Thank you, Andy Foster. You do it again. The rule change will be effected November 1st this year. That's going to allow regulatory changes and kind of time for the referees to be trained and well-versed in the rule. But I love this rule change.
Yeah, man. And, your boy, Johnny Bones Jones.
Let's
he's
go.
Taken away. He's going to be an undefeated fighter. Yeah, I mean, there's probably more throughout history where finishes occurred
I think that Aljo and Piotr Jan.
And what does that do for his legacy? Do we get that removed? That's what I think. Is like I don't necessarily actually agree that it should be retroactive. I feel like whatever happened during that time is what happened. I don't. John Jones, it doesn't have to get that O taken. He doesn't need. He's still regarded as the greatest of all time. So it doesn't really do anything for him. But I would think it would do more detriment to people's careers and legacies if, like you said, like Aljo, for example, he doesn't even get the title. The Anthony Smith knee to the ground, he wouldn't even have a chance to claim the title, even though he did make the right decision in terms of character, not in terms of career. Yeah, all these things would be viewed as different.
100%. So be very interesting. I'm glad that they changed the rule, and we'll see how I'm interested to see how the officials and the referees, how they do, because they're going to be tested. You see a lot of these guys. Even the old Arnold Allen, we'll see him fight, but his last fight in Toronto with the Muhammad Mokaev fight, we'll see what happens there. What happened? Breaking news, right?
Oh, no, I got something better. Wait. Before you hit our ad read.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I was following one person missed weight, but outside of that, Dana White said he has an announcement coming within the hour.
Yes, I saw that as well.
So, yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. All right, let's keep it going. Nursultan Rusabayev, he will fight Renat Fakhretdinov, UFC 308, October 26th in Abu Dhabi. Do you like that fight?
Yeah. Who did he fought? Joaquin Buckley at 185 just before Nursultan, right?
St. Louis.
But he's back down to 170.
Yep.
Nursultan, I feel like he'll fare better there. I do. I don't know. I'm fairly wishy-washy with Fakhretdinov because he had a couple of tough outings. He had that submission loss in the grappling exchange, and then he won his last fight. So it seems that his trajectory, maybe he has overcome those losses, and maybe he's heading towards the right direction. But I still feel like Nursultan's a problem at that weight class.
He has power too.
A lesser version of him at 185, and that's what it was, right? It was him fighting at 185, or was it him cutting to 170? What was the deal? I
you messed it up. I think he went up to 170 now, the fight was
cut.
at one. Yeah, he cut to
He-
170
in very short period of time between his previous fight. He came in on short notice to fight Buckley at 170, cutting all that weight, losing his power. Now he's fighting at 185, back to where he would have his power and not have to cut all that weight. Is that the case? Because I thought Hinnock Redenoff fights at 170.
I think the fight is at welterweight. I think it is.
Wow.
At
So is Nursultan trying to make himself at home at 170? I think he looked better at 185.
I think just Buckley's a dog, honestly. And I
Could
think
be.
he makes
Maybe
a lot
he
of
has
guys look
good
like that.
performance against Hinnock. So
Gonna be a tough fight
I
regardless.
think it's a great fight. I'm interested to see where it is. It looks like it's going to be at 170. So
we got a fight for the Apex, August 24th, UFC Vegas 96. Our boy Neil Magny will take on Michael Morales. Tough fight for Neil Magny, though. I like it.
yeah, but death, taxes,
And Neil Magny decision. And the
That's
Apex,
right.
fighting at the Apex.
the Apex. Crowd's going to be ruckus in there for Neil Magny, our boy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I feel like that's a possibility. But it's a great fight for the Apex. Kind of, I hate to say Neil Magny's a gatekeeper, but if you want to become someone, you have to get through Neil Magny. If you can't get through him, you might be in for a long night with him because he does certainly make it that.
Kind of like a little more well respected, but Neil Magny's always in the top 15, kind of like a King Green we'll talk about in just a little. If you could get past King Green, all right, now we're cooking. Like you belong there. If you beat Neil Magny, yeah, exactly. So I think it has a negative connotation, but it's not really meant to be negative, like a gatekeeper. It's kind of like when they say a quarterback's a game manager. Yeah, he is a game. That's part of the duty.
That's
like you
part
have
of
to be
the job title. Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people would kill to be in that position, as we spoke about. So, the fact that you are that, it shouldn't be considered as any shade. It should be as a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a fight for Salt Lake City. I think it's at the Delta Arena. I think it's where the Utah Jazz play. 307 in Salt Lake City. Iaporte, he will take on Cesar Almeida. That's a barn burner, I think.
Dude, Cesar Almeida, the guy who beat Alex Pereira once in kickboxing.
Correct.
But hadn't got finished to him when they fought 3 times. He lost twice to him, but didn't get finished. That's an accomplishment. Who's he taking on though?
Ihor Patoria.
He's taking on Ukrainian Ihor Patoria. Okay, I mean he's gonna want to keep it standing. I think Cesar Almeida is a stand-up kind of fighter. I think we saw a little bit of hole in his game, being his age, being he entered into mixed martial arts that late in his career. You are at a deficit with your grappling.
But he's tough. Crazy. He's tough to finish, though.
He's tough to finish, tough to take down, tough. It's just see like that. It's crazy what we're getting out of Poatan without the background of grappling, without doing it as often or as long as you need to succeed at these levels. I think Cesar Almeida might have that hole in his game that might not have enough time to fill, especially at his age. So let's see if it stays standing between.
I think it will stand. I think it's going to be a barn burner early in the card. And they got some elevation, obviously not to the magnitude of Mile High, but it is elevation in Salt Lake City. So we'll see how that fight takes place. But I buried the lead here. Chris Barnett is back.
Huggy Bear.
October 12th. And you know what? He's fighting Elvis's cousin, Waldo Cortez Acosta. What a barn burner.
I think he wanted it. I do. I think he wanted it. What's going to be worse? 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the head or 100-mile-an-hour wheel kick to the back of the head? Give me Chris Barnett.
Early lead with Chris Barnett. Hopefully, if he does win, we get a front flip.
Yeah, we get a front flip. We get beers in the crowd. We just get a whole performance. That's what we get. Entertainment value with Chris Barnett.
But we know Elvis will put a hefty wager on his cousin. I mean, the kid throws 100 miles an hour.
And bro, honestly, I mean, he's on a roll. He made money last time out.
he made money last time, and he beat the UFC's Golden Cuban boy that everyone was high on.
Yep. And who only one had a ticket? Shout out Elvis of the Dream.
Shout out Elvis. He was making us look like the fools, honestly.
Sharp.
Oh, man. Before we get to Joey's news, boxing real quick. Canelo Alvarez, he will defend his undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and IBO superweight, middleweight titles against Edgar Bargella. September 14th, not smart. They're going up against UFC Noches in Las Vegas. You heard Oscar De La Hoya come out say this is the fight no one wants. There's rumors that Edgar is getting away from Golden Boy, going to Top Rank because this fight is on ESPN. But it seems like Canelo Alvarez has been stripped or vacated his IBF and super middleweight title. He's not fighting for the IBF mandatory William Skull. They scheduled to have him fight William Skull next. He said he's not doing that, so he's being stripped of his IBF super middleweight. So the fight on September 14th will only be for the WBA, WBC, and WBO. So very interesting. He's being stripped of his IBF.
We saw it with Usyk, right? And
which is crazy though.
AJ and Dubois now are going to get the chance to fight for Usyk's belt. I mean, the same is applying here. The fighters are going to come out and show that the titles really don't mean anything. This is actually putting the promotions, the commissions at a disadvantage. Because it makes them look bad. Because you obviously know who's the better boxer on the planet. You obviously know who should be the champ, and just kind of handing out consolation prizes, it doesn't make for a better product. If anything, I think it hurts the product.
100%. And it's so stupid, especially to go back on your Usyk point. We just unified them all. Why are you stripping him? Let him fight. We all know who the best fighter is. And I think it'll eventually get changed because the fighters are coming out and saying, we don't really give a fuck. Strip us. We're still going to prove and go out there and show you why we are the best. So kind of fucking stupid, in my opinion, that they stripped him of the IBF, but it is what it is. I'll agree with Oscar on one point. I don't think he's going to go to Top Rank. He's still under contract with Golden Boy. My problem is, why would you schedule this on UFC Noches? The same city, the same night, September 14th.
Ego. He thinks he could do better. He thinks
it's not going to do better.
It's going to be bad. It's going to actually, they're going to lose money. You have to, sometimes avoid the conflict, and going up against the juggernaut that the UFC is. I mean, look at everyone else. The WWE and the same company avoids them. So, I mean, you got to think better strategically for the business plan and just everything as a whole, because you're going to wind up losing when you go up against the UFC.
Look at Jorge Masvidal and Jake Paul. They rescheduled it because they were going up against the UFC out of respect.
And it was 300.
Yeah, and also, it was 300. That's a great call because it got pushed back as well, because you don't want to go up or 299. It was one of them, but it doesn't matter which one it is. You don't want to go up against the UFC. One, out of respect, especially if you're a UFC fighter, and two, just because the numbers. I can't wait for them, the real numbers, to come out and see what it did, because I know Canelo Alvarez has a huge fan base, but it's not going to do what UFC Noches is about to do. You know how much money these guys are putting in? The UFC is as big as ever right now.
I think, I'm just seeing it. I saw it as a big picture after 300, thinking that maybe the product or just like the energy behind it, man, I don't know. I feel that the crowd in Manchester was booming. I feel like like you said, the UFC is better than it's ever been.
100%. So no Dana White announcement just yet. We're about 30 minutes in. What did you have?
It was just a shout out. As you know, all of our episodes are presented by Viva Seltzer. And
new flavor.
Coconut. So I just had to shout them out before our picks and before the ad read.
Oh, perfect segue. Professional in the industry. That is amazing. Yes, new flavor came out today, July 26th. Don't know if it's where it is. Viva has a website. Go on to check it, viva.com, vivaseltzer.com.
It looks delicious.
Definitely. Oh my God, it looks amazing. Go on over them. Give them a follow as well. And our perfect way, right, segue into our ad read. We are presented each and every episode by the great people at Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer in the market. Is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer. Can't wait to see this coming year. They were voted #1 last year. Let's see what this year with the new flavor. Light, 4.5 ABV, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and only 88 calories. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavored tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with Joe or a coconut watching 304, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with the Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live it up. Joe, I don't know where it is, but we have to go out and get some coconut. I know we'll be sent some. Make sure to get you some. But yeah, go on over, check it out. It's definitely on their website, and they have a tracker as well. So wherever you are, just type your zip code and it'll pop up wherever they have each flavor. But yeah, thank you to the people over at Viva. Joe, UFC 304, Manchester. It's in a new stadium, not at the 302 or 303 or whatever it's called over there in fucking Manchester.
The
But
O2?
the O2, yeah, thank you. I knew it was one number, but yeah, the O2, new arena. Interested to see how they fit. They said it's around 15 to 17,000 people. We'll see. Gonna be loud. I anticipate a lot of excitement. Only one fighter missed weight, Jack Hadley, 1 pound over. He will be fined 20% of his purse, but the fight between him and Loughnane will continue.
Wow.
So, little news off the top, but yeah, take it away, Joe. What do we got?
Yeah, I thought the press conference was pretty decent. You know, the being locked in the elevator, Leon Edwards shouting out below. He's like, remember the name.
10,
I thought that was
10-7 on the fake
on the pump fake.
Yeah, he's a fake tough guy. I mean, he didn't scare anyone.
He did the headshot Dead Bilal did to Leon there. So it definitely got him heated. And I just think it makes for a better weigh-in when we get the ceremonial weigh-in tonight. And of course, for the fight come tomorrow. But let's start it up. First fight of the night, I'll get involved in. Not touching 2 fights this whole card, but you know me, I got to get involved early. So we take place in the strawweight division, and we got Shauna Bannon at -160. Last time, first debut, first fight in the UFC, didn't do so well. I think we had high expectations for her, but we said it. You know, you get the jitters. It's not rust, but it's just, you know, fighting at the biggest stage of your career. I think, the nerves can get to you. So Elise Ardeline, +150, Romanian fighter coming in a short notice. I don't think she really has a shot here. I think this is Shauna Bannon's way to get on track, make her way into the UFC, kind of state her case in the 115-pound women's division. So I'll be taking Shauna Bannon on the money line. And, man, I think the crowd's going to be rowdy for this fighter here. In the heavyweight division, Mick Parkin is a heavy favorite, -265, taking on Lucas Brzeski at +275. Just taking Parkin straight up on the money line, but I do think we're looking for an early finish here. Lucas Brzeski gets knocked out time and time again. It tends to happen in the first or second round. He has proved to be tough. I think when he fought Walter Walker, Johnny's, I think we were all expecting Lucas to get knocked out there, but he actually wound up victorious on the judges' scorecard. So he does have some grit and determination, but I think Mick Parkin is a sound fighter, and I think he'll get the job done. I don't know which way, so that's why I'm just playing him straight up on the money line, -265 in the second fight. Now, I have in the welterweight division, Sam Patterson, another big favorite, -360, taking on Kiefer Crosby, the Irishman at +345. You know, Sam Patterson, he's got a pretty good record. We saw him get iced a couple times in his career, most recently prior to his last fight out. Yanel Ajmu's gonna just starched him, man. I just think it was the fact of him getting caught. I think Sam Patterson's very skilled. Now, Kiefer Crosby does have that ability. He has the power to kind of touch you and put you out. He does have a handful of first round finishes, but I think Sam Patterson's too quick, too smooth, fighting a little more closer to home than the Irishman. I think he's going to have an advantage here. Maybe the crowd's behind him. We'll see Sam Patterson in victory. Let's see him on the money line at -360, playing him straight up, but I do have a little parlay for you guys at the end when it's all said and done. So let's go right into the next fight. And it is in the flyweight division. Think a lot's on the line in this fight for you and I, my boy. Muhammad Mokaev, -145, is taking on Manel Kape at +140. D-Rock, I'm going to hand it off to you. Who do you have in this big bout early on UFC 304?
Title eliminator here.
Yes.
I think this is a great fight. Kape made weight, looked good. But I do think his inconsistency in making the weight in the, up until this point, I think is what led this fight to being moved to the early prelims. Now, I love the CLD or RoboCop fight. We'll talk about that in a little, but man, this is a main card fight 9 out of 10 times a week. I mean, surprise, but I do like it. We all know the Mokaev is great for the wrestling, good grappling. He was able to take everyone down. Kape has a black belt in BJJ as well. I think the difference here is going to be the counter striking, the power from Manel Kape he has, and how Mokaev deals with that early on. I think as the fight goes on, I think it does give the advantage to Muhammad Mokaev. Should be a really good fight. But I'm going to take the value here with the dog. Give me Manel Kape. I think he does wind up tagging him. Should go all 3 rounds unless Manel Kape gets him out early. But I'm going to take the value here with the dog. +141. Give me the Manel Kape.
Don't be ashamed of that at all. I was looking into this fight deeply. You know, I'm very excited for this one, and I really do think Manel Kape is live. I do think his ability to strike is better than what Mokaev has to offer, and he has the ability to grapple. But what you've seen from Manel Kape is as he gets late into the fight, and I think you've seen with his weight cut losses and stuff, he gasses a little bit as it gets later. So he does have, I think, about 2 or 3 third-round submission losses in his career. If you look at Muhammad Mokaev, pretty sure the majority of his submission wins have come in the 3rd round. So, you know, it's a clash of styles. Manel Kape's going to have the hands. Mokaev's going to have the grappling. Let's see who's going to be at an advantage in this one. I'm going to go on the opposite side because I do have a ticket for the future for Mokaev, so I got to kind of play it close to the chest. I'm going to take the favorite, Muhammad Mokaev, minus 145, hoping for a 3rd round submission, but everyone, I think Dylan is sharp for a reason. Manel Kape's live. So let's move on from that fight, which should be in the main card, but, you know, it's in the prelims, so be it. We get some early entertainment, but this one I think is going to be a banger of a fight. In the welterweight division, the Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott, plus 125, taking on Preston Parsons at minus 140. Before you go, D-Rock, Preston Parsons does have the grappling ability, but it's tricky when you see guys that don't have TKO finishes and have never been finished with TKO. Like last time out, Trey Ogden, I thought that he was going to be in the losing end. He proved me wrong, and I'm very scared for what Preston Parsons can do, but I got to take the dog in this spot. I like the value. Oban Elliott's fighting in his own backyard, has the knockout ability, and I think he has more ways to win. So give me plus 125 on the money line for the Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott.
Oban Elliott plus 132. Yeah, give me the dog as well. Very similar fighters. You know, they're both going to want to wrestle, grapple each other. Obviously, Parsons has the better competition. He's been in the UFC a little longer, but I think the wrestling is a little better from Oban Elliott. I think it's a little better. His footwork is a little cleaner. I think he's going to be able to cut the angles as well. Again, at the price, the value here is with the dog. I love everything about him. He's intentional. He knows how big of a fight this is against Parsons. Duval County, stand up, Jacksonville, Florida. But I think the home guy is going to win here. Give me the Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott, plus 132.
Yep, we're on the same side there. And as I mentioned, the next 2 fights I don't have a play for, but they'll go in order as in the light heavyweight division. Modestas Bukauskas is minus 150. He's taking on Poland's own Marcin Prachnio at plus 135. Think it's really close. I don't know which way to go there, and I wanted to play it safe by not putting an official play or even a lean for that matter. If you were for your running, I know you don't have anything. Who would you kind of lean with? Bukauskas or Bacci?
You can't go against our Polish power, Marcins at plus 130. I'm telling you, I've been loving the price with the dogs here. So that's more to come a little.
I like that. All right. I like that. And then the next one, you mentioned the little weight miss from Jake Hadley. He's plus 180. Maybe he gets a little of an advantage with the weight miss, as you see all far too often. But Cal Loughnane, minus 195. I think I would lean with him, but I don't have an official play. Are you in the same boat?
Yeah, no, nothing here. Honestly, to be honest, I thought the early prelims was better than the prelims. If I'm being honest, I thought they were more interesting.
Honestly, the first 4 fights are fire. And don't get me wrong, about Elliott, Preston Parsons, good. But I think the level of what we're getting in the first 4 fights, I think they're worthy. Like if you had this as a Manchester fight night, they'd be on the main card.
No disrespect to Molly. I know she's going to get a big pop here. So Jake Hadley and Nathaniel Wood, but I don't know, man. I like the early prelims a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Meatball Molly McCann, she's minus 350 in the strawweight division, taking on Bruna Brazil at plus 290. I think a lot of people think Bruna Brazil is live, but I don't. Molly McCann is going to win this fight, I think, by devastating fashion. I like Bruna Brazil. I do. I don't know. There's something about it. There's something in the air in Manchester rooting for the English fighters.
I think she found her home at 115, Molly. I think she's small.
She's able to go ahead and lock in submissions now, and she has a knockout ability. I'm looking for a finish in this one. I think she gets it done. Though Bruna Brazil's tough, but getting it done against Bruna Brazil would speak a lot to Molly McCann and where she's at in her career. So give me Meatball minus 350.
Love it. I real quick, on this fight, I mean, I think this is a great fight for Molly. I do think but 360 is insane. Like I said last time, I know she won and she looked good. Her and Patty look really good. They did their training camp together. Yeah. I mean, they look crazy in shape. But I think the number is a little inflated.
It is inflated, and it's just based off the popularity.
And she is good off her back, Bruna Brazil. So I think if
just don't get comfortable there, you can't fall in love with being on your back.
100%. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, man. Mention this guy, the prospect in the featherweight division, Nathaniel Wood is minus 400. He's taking on Daniel Pineda at plus 340. Man, I like Daniel Pineda. I do think he has a regionally, well-rounded skill set, but I think that Daniel Wood is just that much of a better fighter. I think he's faster. I think he's more technical. I think the shots straight down the middle are what going to propel him to victory in this one. So minus 400, I think the heaviest favorite on the card. It worries me, but I got to take him. I got to think that in his own backyard, coming off the level of competition, who he's fought and how he's performed, I think that Nathaniel Wood's got this. Maybe the heaviest favorite on the card for a reason, rightfully so. Give me Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. I can't touch. Maybe a parlay piece, but it takes is one punch to fuck us.
Yeah, to change the fight, and that's exactly right. And boy, do I have something cooking up for you at the end. But let's move on to the main card of UFC 304 in Manchester, England, and we're here at the featherweight division again, and it's between Arnold Almighty Allen at minus 215 taking on Giga Chikadze at plus 205. D-Rock, I'll hand it off to you. Give me your thoughts on this fight.
Yeah, Giga Chikadze 8-1 in the UFC, and we all know the Almighty. I think also his social media has gotten really funny. Did you see him? They were giving Patty and Leon their custom shorts, and he goes, "Where's mine with the piss stain and the gray sweats?" Like, he's actually really fucking funny. I like what he's doing on social media. He's kind of like showing his personality a little bit, but he has lost 2 of 3. But he's fought the who's who. He's fought Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar. So, I just think Giga Chikadze, I think he will be able to keep this fight, keep the distance, not get into a brawl and get up close. Because if he does, it's over. I mean, Arnold Allen's going to knock him out. He's the bigger fighter. He has more power. Giga Chikadze has to keep his distance, teep kicks, attack the legs, play point fighting, smarter fighter. Another dog, baby. Give me Giga Chikadze plus 205. I know people love Arnold Allen. I do think this is a good spot for him. But I think people fucking forgot about Giga Chikadze just because a lot of his fights have been canceled. Let's not forget that Giga kick. He's going to attack, and he's going to attack. Give me the dog again, baby. Plus 205.
Hey, I like it. I can't knock the hustle, relatively similar records. Like you said, the Giga kick is still there. But, Arnold Allen, man, I mean, a couple checks would do him right. And you got to think based on where they are in their age. Arnold Allen is kind of more in his prime, kind of turning the corner into 30. Giga Chikadze's on maybe the back end. He is going to be turning 36 relatively soon. So I like the dude fighting in his own backyard. I know Giga has a lot to prove. He wants to get to that title, but going through Arnold Allen is no small task. Losing 3 in a row, I think he's highly motivated. I know he was taking a piss, as you said, when talking about, shout out King Green, shout out everyone talking about the slang and the terms that we use over there in England. But yeah, he's good personality. I think he's a great fighter. The blitzes he throws, the combinations in the pocket, I think are going to be valuable against Giga Chikadze. If it's on the distance, though, if it stays on the outside, I do think Chikadze does have the advantage there. So to your point, I think that's what makes him live, the ability to keep everything on the outside. But in the pocket, I think Arnold Allen does have the advantage. We'll see where the wrestling lies. If you were to ask me, I do think Arnold Allen would be able to do it. And that's where, with more ways to win, I'm on the opposite side. Give me Arnold Allen minus 215.
Love it.
In the middleweight division, we move on. And I think, oh man, this could be fight of the night to me. I know the fight we just talked about, I think is high up there, but something's telling me that we haven't fully seen the skill set of Christian Leroy Duncan, who is a minus 135. He's taking on RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez at plus 125. And like I said, I think we're expecting a great fight here. I think CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, is the real deal. I think he very well could piece up Gregory Rodriguez. I know that says a lot, but Gregory Rodriguez does have some brutality in him to get those finishes, get those knockouts. I just think that he's not as a technician as Christian Leroy Duncan. If he can't land his shots on CLD, you can't hit what you can't see. And you can't, finish anyone which you can't hit. So I just see Christian Leroy Duncan being able to get out of danger, being able to land his shots, and possibly getting Gregory Rodriguez out of there. Give me the favorite, CLD, at minus 135.
Yeah, CLD, that's my boy. I really like him, and winner should enter the top 15, I think. But my guy, CLD, 3-1 in the UFC. His defense does go away sometimes late in the fight, but I think he's really good. He cuts the angles really well. Coming off 2 knockout wins, he has the power. And I never pick RoboCop. I always fade him, or I just never pick him. I don't know why. He's been knocked out before, and he fights mostly like a boxer. He fights straight. He's going to walk you right down. I don't think that's good. He gets tagged a lot. I think CLD cuts angles really well. I think the footwork is better for CLD.
100%.
So I think he's going to pick RoboCop apart. Now, the power, RoboCop one shot behind the ear, it could be over, but I don't think CLD gets caught. I think technician-wise, I think Celory Duncan is more efficient. I think he's more technical fighter, striker. 4-1. I think CLD wins -130. I'm going to take the favorite here.
I like that. And I do think there's a star brewing with him, especially if he
100%.
a really good performance against RoboCop. I think the crowd and UFC fans as a whole will get to see CLD for real. So let's go to the featured bout of the evening in the lightweight division, man. A massive fight for these two guys. King Green, formerly known as Bobby Green, -115. See, I respected the name. You see, not a lot of people respect. Even the UFC has him as Bobby Green. This is King Green now. Taking on Paddy Pimblett, the Paddy the Baddy at +100, even money. What I saw him. D-Rock, give me your thoughts. Who do you got in this?
Even the sports book, you got to respect it, man. I understand, like, bro, it's King Green. Now we'll all make the mistakes, but like, come on, bro, respect the name. It was rumored out there that Paddy coming into this fight didn't have a new deal. Just on the embedded, it broke about 15 minutes ago. Paddy got a new UFC deal, so he signed in with the UFC. Green is about to be 38 years old, man, in September. Coming off a great win against our guy, Jim Miller. That was tough to see, but this is going to be his 26th UFC walk. Crazy. Paddy Pimblett, 5-0 in the UFC, but 21-3 as a pro. Has a lot more experience than, a lot of these younger guys in the promotion. I'll say that. But Green, he's been there with everyone, and I feel like like we talked about earlier, I feel like he's the benchmark in the division. If you could get by him, good. Now we're talking. Now I think you deserve to be there. Easier said than done. The last time Green got submitted, because that's what Paddy's been talking about all week. I'm going to take you down. My ground game's good. On top, I look really good. Pause. I think, we'll see. Green hasn't gotten submitted since 2009. I don't think he submits him. He gets finished sometimes on the feet because he likes to keep his hands low, but I really don't see Paddy finishing Green. I think Green actually wins this fight. Paddy, he keeps the chin up still. He didn't fix the problems that he had on the feet. Very not good with the footwork. I think Green catches Paddy late in the fight. If not, smothers him in the third, gets a decision win. But I'm going to go King Green here, -110 on the money line. I think this is a very big step up for competition, and I don't think he's ready for it.
Yeah, I like your stance. If you look at Bobby King Green, he's been active since post-pandemic. He's probably one of the most active fighters in all of mixed martial arts. It's crazy to see at his age and everything. And I got a little update, granted the submission loss that didn't happen. It was 2009. I was in an MMA fight. He actually was submitted by a knee bar in 2021 in a grappling tournament. UFC Fight Pass invitation. You don't count that, but okay. But look, he steps in to fight for the title against Islam. He did the company a favor there. If you were telling me, after the loss to Drew Dober and after the head clash of Jared Gordon Day, he would win, 3 out of the next 4, I would have probably thought different. I would have thought that Bobby Green might have been cut and moved on to different organization, but he's durable. He's gritty. He is King Green, but Paddy Pimblett, he's a star, man. I can't. I faded him before when he fought Tony Ferguson. I can't do it again. Bobby King Green, look at it against he did to grapplers. To Tony Ferguson, he submitted him. It's the shell of Tony Ferguson that we once knew. Grant Dawson can't strike for his life, and Jim Miller didn't throw in a single takedown. So when he fought against Jalen Turner, he got knocked out in the first round pretty bad. I don't think necessarily knockouts on the table. I do think, though, that he could be out grappled. I think, it's possible. We've seen it before. I know there's levels, but Paddy Pimblett is sick when it comes to transitions, when it comes to taking your back, when it comes to finding a submission. He has a lot in his arsenal. And I do think he's smart enough to stay away from the danger, not, dumb to, want to exchange on the feet with Bobby Green or not want to throw in a single takedown. I do think Paddy Pimblett's one to be able to mix it up in there. The 10-year age gap. There's a lot that's given me pause to want to take the plus 100 in Paddy Pimblett, and that's what I'm going to do. And I just think that all that accumulating is why I'm going to be taking Paddy to Batty. Give me the plus 100. I think it'd be surprising to see, but I do think for some reason, if he can get Bobby King Green down early, Paddy Pimblett could probably submit him in the first round. Don't be surprised if that happens. But
no, it's going to be surprising. I think me and you can make a personal bet. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll say this. First, you keep disrespecting my man King Green. Can't say King. Can't say Bobby. And
I'm just doing it for everyone to understand.
People
King Green. He's a dog, man. I mean, he's been knocking out hype trains and derailing all this for 10, 15 years now. So
a lot of people
say it's not going to stop now.
And a lot of people are saying, the hype might get to Paddy. One, I don't think so. He's in his backyard. And let's not forget, this isn't the best fighter King Green has fought. This isn't going to be his toughest fight. He's been there, done that bigger stage. The atmosphere at 305 is not going to get to him. The time difference is not going to get to King Green as well. So all these points that people were making for Paddy, I don't think they're concrete. If I'm being
Josh
honest.
Thompson, Edson Barbosa, Dustin Poirier, we said Islam Makhachev, you know what I'm saying? Rafael Fizev's a high-level fighter. I mean, going back in the career of Tim Means in his prime, he's fought the who's who.
Yeah.
But as much as I do speak highly of King Green, I am fading him. So may the best man win in our future.
This is my favorite play of the night, King Green money line.
King Green, I love it. But
I love it.
Let's go into my favorite play of the evening in the heavyweight division. We got Tommy Aspinall minus 360 taking on Curtis Blades at plus 310. I'll give you my play real quick.
Yeah.
I got Curtis Blades. I got to take the plus 310. He's the only play. Every play that I have had so far this evening will be straight up and incorporated on a parlay for you. But except this Curtis Blades play, I'm keeping it completely separate from the parlay at plus 310. I just think there's tremendous value there. One of the most durable fighters on the roster. Yeah, granted, he's been knocked out a couple times. He also has knockouts in the first or second round throughout his career. He's been buying and vying for his title shot for many years now. And I know we're forgetting about him because of the star that Tommy Aspinall is. And I love Tom Aspinall, one of the quickest fighters. If you fight Tom Aspinall, most likely you're going to get knocked out in the first round unless he winds up getting injured, which we saw on their first match. So this is a rematch. I think this is for all the guts and the glory. I just think a lot of people are maybe sleeping on Curtis Blades and his ability to get a finish and be durable in there and give Tom Aspinall problems, especially with the wrestling, as opposed to the stardom of Tommy Aspinall. I think we're all kind of blinded by the light of just how special he is as a person, as a character, and what we've seen of him prior, all his finishing ability. Tom Aspinall's a star. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but I just think that we're sleeping on Curtis Blades, and he may have his number, as we've seen in the past, same could be said for the main event when we get there. We'll see if that's the case, but give me plus 310 with Curtis Blades. Thinks tremendous value, even though Tommy Aspinall, rightfully so, is the favorite.
We'll talk about it in a little next week with UFC Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, excuse me, about how guys just misprice. I know Umar Nurmagomedov is the boogeyman and people don't want to fight him, but Corey Sandhagen doesn't deserve to be a plus 250 against anybody, and that includes the champ. So again, it's just sometimes the market needs to get two-way action, and the only way to get two-way action is to kind of throw a balloon out there and have people, and it's the value. It's whatever you deem is valuable, and I agree. I think the value is with Curtis Blades. Real quick, Dana White, when he made that announcement on Instagram, someone
what was it about?
Well, no, we didn't get there, but someone commented it and said, please tell me Alexander Volkanovski isn't stepping in to fight Tom Aspinall. And Dana White goes, nope, it's Dan Ige. I love Dan Ige.
Not out 50K.
But for this fight, man, I got a few ways I'm going to play it. I'm going to take Tom Aspinall minus 115 to win by knockout. I'm going to sprinkle fight to end in round 2 plus 310 and fight to start round 2 minus 115.
Wow.
The way I see it is Blades, he has his head-to-head win. And I'll say this, I wanted to get this out of the way. A lot of people saying he doesn't deserve this fight. I think
Oh,
that's blasphemy.
that's
he has
crazy.
a head-to-head win, regardless of injury. He has a head-to-head win against him, and he's coming off a knockout win at 299 that everyone counted him out, including Joe and me. So
Yep.
I think he's earned that title shot. I just wanted to get that out of the way, but he has burned me a few times.
It would have been jail time. It would have been
Yeah.
jail time if it wasn't for Blades.
100%. And sometimes when we expect him to go out there and starch him, like he goes out there and lays an egg. Sometimes when we expect him to go out and lay an egg, he goes out there and knocks out jail time. So
it's a career-defining performance.
I do like his wrestling. I think he needs to test Tom's wrestling and his clinch ability very quick. You don't want to stand there and trade with this man. This fight will be over very quickly.
He said he would do it against Pereira. Why shouldn't he do the same for Aspinall?
100%. Great point. So he hasn't been, Tom Aspinall, he hasn't been seen on his back, and against a guy like Blades, who we think is the best wrestling in the division, not John Jones. I just think we haven't seen something this light on his feet, meaning Tom Aspinall moves with this much quickness, this much power in the heavyweight division. I think Blades is tough enough to attack, wrestle him, and make it to the second round. But after that, I just think it's a little too much. I think Tom Aspinall is going to eventually knock him out. I think he is the better fighter. And ultimately, I don't think it goes to decision. I think he gets the finish. And I'm going to get Tom Aspinall. FanDuel, no free shout outs, but FanDuel laid a -115 to get a second round knockout with Tom Aspinall. I took that. I mean, I do think Curtis Blades is his toughest fight to date. And it was going, granted, whatever, 30, 40 seconds, however the first fight was going, he was piecing up Tom Aspinall. So I don't know if he wants to stand there and trade with him again, but definitely incorporate some clinching, grappling.
Yeah, he was checking everything. He had his number.
He had his number. And like you said, sometimes that's what it is in the fight game. So I think he is tough enough. Drag him into the second round. But then eventually, I think as the fight goes on, Tom Aspinall will take over.
Yeah, it's like a bubble that's ready to burst. And in the first round, it's ready to go. And if it doesn't, bro, by the second, someone's ready to go out. That's what I think. I really do.
100%.
So, man, we've made it. All the talk, everything is done. After tonight, after the ceremonial face-offs for the weigh-ins, we're going to see these two square off in the octagon at UFC 304 in Manchester, England. And it's in pretty much his own backyard in 170-pound weight class for the welterweight championship. Leon Rocky Edwards is a -235, and he'll be taking on Belal. Remember the name Muhammad at +220. And we saw him live in person. He saved UFC 288. I mean, are you taking Belal Muhammad? Are you taking your boy all this time, all the years of us talking about Belal getting a shot and being the champion, being the future champ at 170 pounds? Does he get it done, D-Rock? Tell me, what are your thoughts?
Headshot. Bang and new +220. Give me Belal. Remember the name Muhammad. A lot of money has actually come in on the champ within the fight week. Don't know why. I understand how the first fight was going before the eye poke. I'll say this. He came in on short notice, 288, and outstruck Gilbert Burns and didn't attempt one takedown. He's knocked out a guy that no one's been able to finish in Sean Brady. He gets better and better. I'll say this. I love the heel role that he's playing. Now, he's making outlandish comments saying a win here puts him second in welterweight history behind GSP. Now, I think that's actually asinine. I still think you're behind Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman. There are other legends in the welterweight
Pat Miletich
history. So, but I love it because I think it kind of helps him. And I'll say this because look how long it took him to get a title shot. They even passed up Shavkat Rakhmonov, which I think a lot of people kind of wanted instead of Belal.
Yeah.
You had 10-fight win streak and you barely got this title fight. If you lose, you aren't getting another title shot. You're done. But if you win, you look like the smartest person in the fucking room. Then it all worked. Whatever you said, you build it up again. And even if you don't, I think another 2 wins, maybe 3 wins, if you go out and beat 3-name Jack or Shavkat, then maybe you get another title shot. But I think it does help him kind of playing this heel role. I think he's gotten tremendously better. So has Leon Edwards. 100% he's gotten better. I just think the push the grappling. I know it's underrated for Leon Edwards, but the grappling is really good. I think he's gonna try to stand and bang with Bilal, and I don't think it's gonna end well. And I think a late finish is coming for Bilal and on enemy territory. And he's not home, he's in Birmingham. Boo! You know who we rep here? We rep Nottingham, baby. We rep fucking Nottingham.
Show your true colors.
Yeah, we fucking rock Nottingham on this podcast, but I'm going to take Bilal. I've been repping him for the last 3.5 years on the pod. That's my guy through and through. I think his striking is better. Not better. Has gotten better. I think the grappling, the wrestling, and he trains with Dagestanians. Give me Bilal. Remember the name.
He looks to be in absolute killer shape, like Bilal Muhammad. I got to say, he looks to be the best shape he's ever been.
People are saying steroids. I said that's funny.
And I don't know. I just think he's really has been putting,
the work in.
The grindstone. I've been working. Like you said, with the Dagestani wrestlers and all that. And I got to say, there was a lot of support for him out there in England. Did you not see the embeddeds and stuff, man? A lot of, support for Palestine, a lot of support for him as a fighter. Just surprising to see. But it wouldn't be an Axe Kick Picks main event without me and D-Rock being on opposite sides. I had to do it to you. As much as we were riding Bilal, and I do think very highly of him. We saw him in person, and he's a good fighter. I think Leon Edwards has got it. I think we talked about having people's numbers, talking about who's more defensively sound and who has maybe the stronger kicks and punches. I think Leon does edge him out with all that. Maybe the cardio, we have yet to see maybe Leon fade as it gets to later in fights. So you could say, Law's weapon, the cardio could play a factor. I don't see that. Wrestling.
He's going to drag him into deep waters.
That's going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be is if Leon Edwards' takedown defense can hold up against Bilal Muhammad. Now, we haven't seen Bilal being too bloodthirsty when it comes to securing a takedown and getting there. He does fall in love with the stand-up and striking, where he's very talented at. But I do feel like against Leon Edwards, that could be for some trouble. Leon is one of the most talented kickboxers we've ever seen. I'm not putting that lightly. I really do think that he's so skillful and quick, fast twitch muscle fibers running through his body. I mean, he's ready to strike at any time. And I'm very concerned that Bilal Muhammad gets caught and gets knocked out in this fight.
Wow.
But Leon Edwards, I got to take him straight up on the money line. Submissions are probably thrown out of this fight. I just got to play it straight because, like I said, I have a parlay cooking up for you. And every fight that I've given you is a straight up bet. And that's Rocky Edwards. That's, Curtis Blaydes the only one that's separate, but he's there as a straight up bet. Paddy Pimblett, CLD, Arnold Allen, Nathaniel Wood, Meatball Molly, Oban Elliott, Makayev, Patterson, Parkin, Bannon. That is a full English parlay for you, right? Full English breakfast. Full English parlay for UFC 304 in Manchester, England, giving you odds of plus 12,000. What is that, 120 to 1?
Yeah.
And that's my play and my parlay for
all
UFC
Englishmen. What could go wrong?
Right.
Yeah. Good luck, Joe. Are you going to have fish and chips? Dude.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll definitely get some fish and chips, and I'll get some malt vinegar. It'll be a good time. I need to get a spice bag. That's what I need to get. They don't have that.
No, they don't have that over here either. I'll actually be watching it in the woods. Shout out our boy Christian Lopez, bachelor party this weekend in the Poconos. So I'm gonna be watching
shout out.
the woods with the boys.
Congrats.
Yeah, but we're locked and loaded UFC from Manchester all the way to Abu Dhabi in the desert next weekend. So can't wait for that. But Joe, we got some boxing. The Woat. Shout out Clarissa Shields. She's a huge favorite, minus 4,000. No way to take her. So even
I just took her KO TKO. I think she'll get it. That's what she's been trying to do. She's trying to showcase.
She hasn't been getting it though.
In the mixed martial arts, I feel like she'll find it obviously in her home in boxing.
So the fight to go to decision, minus 290 to win. For Shields to win by decision, minus 250 for her to get the knockout, which I do think is worth a sprinkle. Plus 210. I think
I love that. That's the best play, most value you can get out of it. That's what I'm going. You said plus 210. Give me the Guo via KO TKO plus 210.
Yeah, fighting in her backyard in Detroit, Michigan. Cannot wait for that. Good luck to the Guo. You got Joy Joyce fight, huh? They weighed in. They all made weight.
Yeah, it's Derek Chisora plus 275, minus 350. Kind of the breaker was Zayli Zhang. Though both have lost against him, Joe Joyce has a knockout power. Derek Chisora has been knocked out plenty of times. I think you want to take Joe Joyce. At minus 350, though, just like to get value out of it, maybe you want to take another KO TKO. I don't know if you see plus odds for that if he gets a knockout. for Joe Joyce?
Let me see.
I'll go for the knockout weekend with the GWOAT, Clarissa Shields, and Joe Joyce, both getting a knockout in their boxing main events this weekend.
To win by knockout, Joy Joyce minus 180.
Yeah, I would take it. It's chalky, but definitely most likely.
But it brings it down from minus, what was it, 400?
Yes.
Yeah, so love that.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Fucking
Both plays via KO TKO will get you the most bang for your buck for our boxing, which will absolutely be overshadowed by the big pay-per-view of UFC 304. That's
right after UFC 03, we got some other things. If you want to just pull an all-nighter like the English people, watch Super Arisen 3 Sunday, 1 a.m. At the Super Arena in Japan. What do you got?
Yes, Saitama Super Arena, Super Arisen 3, Mikiro Asakura. If you don't remember, he fought Floyd Mayweather in his exhibition back in the day, minus 325. So he's a heavy favorite taking on Ren Hiramoto at plus 250. I got to take Asakura. He's a Japanese superstar. There's a reason that they're promoting him, pushing him on top of the bills of all their events. And there's a reason that he fought Mayweather. Yeah, it was early in his career and he lost, but he's learned a lot and he is an absolute superstar. So give me Asakura to get 10 seconds left. A month in a row. Let's
fucking go. Let's go for 4 weeks in a row. Let's get a profitable UFC 304. Good luck to Joe Joyce and the GWOAT Clarissa Shields this weekend. Joe, any big plans this weekend? What are you doing?
Yeah, have fish and chips. Try to find a coconut seltzer from Tequila, and we're living it up.
Let's fucking usual. Go. Yeah, going to be a good weekend. Good luck to everyone out there. That is going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Kick Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, myself, I am D-Rock. Make sure you guys follow along our social media. You can find Joe on X at 10 with the number 10. Seconds left _ You can find me on X at Rock with 2Ks24. You can follow the Dream Wager at Axescape Picks. If you miss an episode, no worries. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review, leave in the comments who you'll be betting on this weekend. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend, everyone. Good luck on your wagers, and we will see you guys on Monday.